made a Hornet cosplay from Hollow Knight, and this is how I made it. And if you don't know me, I am Cosplay. I make a lot of tutorials about how to make fursuits and cosplay. I started by making a model of the head and then covered it in tape to make a small pattern. I scanned the pattern to my PC where I drew up the lines, scaled it up and printed it. And if you're interested in the pattern, you can get it via my Patreon. I then traced it to 10mm EVA foam and cut that out. I use contact cement to glue the EVA foam together, and here it's really important that you wear a mask. Contact cement is really toxic, so it's also very important that you work in a very ventilated space. And also how you use the contact cement is that you put a layer on each piece, wait a bit, when you can tap on it without being too sticky, you stick the pieces together. And this is a longer process, so enjoy a bit of music. Before adding the horns, I also added a bit of Epoxy foam on the inside as a form of a roof. After gluing everything together, there were still a few holes showing, so I used a bit of foam clay to cover those. After everything was dry, I sanded all the seams. I use a Dremel for that, but you can also use normal sandpaper. And the final thing before adding paint was to heat seal everything with a heat gun. And you're asking, can you use a hairdryer for this? No, you can't, it doesn't get hot enough. And now time for primer and paint. Usually you will use a primer like gesso or Flex Bond, where you usually give it 2 to 3 layers. And then on top of that you give paint and then sealer. But the paint I use is a combined primer, paint and sealer, so I gave it around 5 layers. To be able to wear the head, some padding was needed, so I got some upholstery foam and glued it together and added on the inside. And for the eye holes I added vinyl mesh. And I found out that the flexible base made the mesh bend a bit, so I ended up designing a frame and 3D print that. For the cape I'm not going to go that much in detail. It's pretty much just a circle skirt, and there are a lot of free patterns on Google you can find. So you just scale up a pattern like that and cut maybe like either 2 or 4 pieces and sew that together. And for the color of the cape, it was a bit trial and error, and I sadly didn't save the pattern. And for the final part, the needle prop, I designed a model in Blender and 3D printed it. My printer is not that tall, so I had to print it in many pieces. Here you see I used super glue to glue a couple of the pieces together, but I ended up switching to epoxy 2-part glue because the super glue was not strong enough for a project like this. And to make the prop strong enough at the seams, I added wooden rods. And the seams were not 100% perfect, so I had to fill in the gaps. And for that I used something called foam coat. You can also get other stuff that works for 3D prints. I am not sure what it's called, so this was just what I had on hand. And when that stuff dries up, it gets hard and easy to sand. And yeah, 3D printing requires a lot of sanding. For painting I used normal brush on acrylic paint. I would usually recommend spray-on paint, but I was on a tight deadline, so I just had to work with what I already had on hand. And that was pretty much how I made the Hornet cosplay. The black bodysuit underneath was something we already had on hand. You can use similar, or you can sew your own bodysuit. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm a bit out of practice when it comes to working with EVA foam, but I still liked how it turned out. I'm also a beginner when it comes to making bigger 3D printed props, so I definitely need a lot more practice for that. And the pattern for the head and 3D print files are available via my Patreon. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more costume crafting like this. So until next time, bye!